And we're going to start with Phoenix Norris from Canada.
I'm looking in the mirror, but who's looking back? I see my face and my eyes, but not the heart that is cracked. I see the face of the girl that everybody calls pretty, but I don't see the mind that is bruised, scarred, and gritty. I don't see the pain and the hurt that's inside, but I do see the tears that are filling my eyes. No one else seems to notice them because they haven't yet escaped. I fought them back because crying makes me feel ashamed. My face might look happy, I might appear carefree, but what you have to learn is that my appearance isn't me. I wish I could be myself and stop all this lying, but what can I say? I've gotten good at hiding. Who am I? For I am not sure. I used to know myself so well, that was before I was insecure. I used to be me, I was so full of love, and then society told me that wasn't enough. I'm supposed to be pretty, but pretend not to know. I can't have guy friends or else I'm a hoe. I need to be happy and cheerful and kind, and if I have feelings, then something's not right. You need a small waist but big boobs and a butt, and if you don't have those, then well, it sucks to suck. They say be yourself, don't change a thing, and then they tell you to change everything. You wear so much makeup that it's not even pretty, but ew, look at that face, you need to cover it quickly. I hate myself more and more every day because society's taught me being myself's not okay. So what I have learned, knowledge I must pass on, is to focus on who you want to be, because to society, no matter what, you'll be wrong. The real me is gone, I cannot be freed, so all I can say is don't follow my lead. Ignore society, or else you will see that you'll lose yourself like I lost me. These were poems I wrote when I was 14. I felt that way. A 14-year-old girl shouldn't have those thoughts. No one should have to feel like there's something wrong with them, or that they need to change in any way, shape, or form. But in reality, a lot of girls feel this way, and even worse. Girls 12 years old and younger are developing serious health issues because of their insecurities. They stop eating or make themselves throw up and develop eating disorders. A 12-year-old girl shouldn't, a 12-year-old girl should not be thinking about her weight. She should be thinking about sleepovers or homework or something. Sadly, the insecurities about weight are just the tip of the iceberg. There are little girls developing depression every minute because they have been told that there's something wrong with them. Maybe because they don't like boys, or they don't like playing with dolls, or for simply falling short of someone else's expectations. There are so many things that are ruining girls' self-esteem, and the age of developing a negative self-image just keeps getting younger and younger. The cause ranges from social media to society, or to parents and loved ones who simply don't think before they speak. Words said out of anger or as a joke can be deadly in terms of how a girl views herself. Children develop their self-esteem through those around them. The words, the attitudes, and actions toward a child is what forms their self-image. Personally, as a young girl, I had a very supportive and empowering environment. My value was always reassured and validated. I knew I was important and worthy, and that my ideas and opinions were important, and that I was powerful and beautiful inside and out, and that my dreams and goals were possible. But as I grew older, I began to be affected by the world around me, and slowly my view of myself began to change. I began to doubt my beauty, my importance, and my worth. The media's ideal woman is portrayed as curvy, with flawless hair and makeup, doing whatever it takes to capture the eye of another. Professional makeup artists, out-of-frame lighting and fans, Photoshop and CGI graphics create a standard that we will never be able to attain naturally. As we are bombarded with these images, we begin to take them on as our own ideal, and either try to become like them, consciously or unconsciously, or we berate ourselves for not being like them. Science tells us that a child's first 7 years lays the foundation of the life they will live. Everything the child witnesses, experiences, and hears is stored in the subconscious as fact. After those 7 years, everything the child witnesses, experiences, and hears is then sorted according to experiences in those first 7 years, which means the experiences that connect with the establishing beliefs and perceptions strengthen, while those that contradict them are removed. Think about how many disempowering ideas and attitude a child is subjected to in 7 years. If a child is awake 12 hours a day for those 7 years, the child is awake 1,839,600 minutes. If the child experiences one idea or attitude per minute, that becomes 1,839,600 ideas or attitudes being stored into the subconscious as appropriate, the way it is, and the way they ought to be. The ideas and attitude a child is exposed to are usually the same ideas or attitudes repeated over and over again. This enforces and confirms the quote-unquote rightness of those ideas or attitudes. How many of these ideas and attitudes are distorted and disempowering? Science tells us that 80% of our thoughts are negative, and that 98% of our thoughts are exactly the same thoughts that we had the day before. This means that at least 80% of the ideas and attitudes experienced by a child are negative. It blows my mind. From an early age, little girls are getting the message that they are not perfect just the way they are, and that for them to be accepted or get approval, they need to change or become someone they are not. It breaks my heart to think of all those girls who believe there is something wrong with them, or that they need to change something about themselves in order to make someone else happy. But I fully understand. That used to be me. Sometimes that still is me. But with the help of people I look up to, I've been able to recognize the difference between what I want and what society and social media try to make me think I want. I was lucky to have that realization, but I know many don't know the difference. I want to help every one of those confused girls. I want to let them know that they are lovable and acceptable exactly as they are. That they deserve to be treated with respect and they deserve to be treated like queens. Then I had a thought. What if there was a universal symbol that stood for self-confidence that we could all share, like maybe a crown? A crown represents power and loyalty. I think everyone should feel both of those things. When we think about a queen, we imagine a woman who is solid in her personal power. She carries herself tall and proud, she demonstrates class and self-respect in her words, actions, and dress. She is diplomatic and treats others with the same respect she expects from them. What if we were able to take the energy of this image and put it into a crown? What if this crown became a symbol that enabled us to embody this energy and become the queens that we were born to be? What if, as soon as we placed the crowns on our heads, we felt in control? We felt the power, our personal power. What if we owned our personal power and made choices that were in our best interest? And what if we wore the crown until we could take it off and still feel confident? When I first started wearing one, I almost talked myself out of it because I was afraid that people were going to judge me or make fun of me. And then I realized that was exactly why I needed to wear it. My fear was of other people's judgment, and that I was letting it affect my choices for my life. I was scared to wear a hair accessory because I was afraid people were going to think that I thought I actually deserved to be treated like a queen. Well, guess what? I do, and everyone else does as well. Imagine how differently we would live our lives if we knew that we were worthy and that we had the power to pave our own paths. How different would our girls be as they approached womanhood if they knew they were worthy? And what life-enhancing choices would they make for themselves? What professions would they choose if they truly believed they could be anything they wanted? What changes would they bring to the world if they knew how powerful they truly were? How different would your own life be if you knew how powerful you truly were and you became the queen of your life? I think by spreading this message, we could help and maybe save a lot of people. I think this can actually be a way we can let other women and girls know that they are not alone. We are all working on our confidence together. Let the crown be the symbol of confidence, power, and unity. Your life is your kingdom, and you are the rightful ruler, so rule it.
Awesome story. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
That is so powerful. And Phoenix, I feel like we are kindred spirits. My name is Stephanie D. Barnes, but my name means crowned one in Greek. And I collect crowns. And like you, I like to wear them out in public. And you know, as a grown woman, I get a little bit different perception. But it is so powerful what you spoke about what a crown does for a woman. Because if you wear one, if you wear a tiara, even if you have it pinned to the top of your head, you do have to carry yourself with greater dignity, and it makes you feel more regal than you do without it. So this is just such a wonderful imagery for the confidence that we should carry. And I think about kind of two instances where I had to learn how to wear my crown, both literally and figuratively. I've always had a love for twirling. I was a majorette in high school and a majorette in college. And it's interesting that, those two experiences played a great deal in the themes that you've touched upon, the theme of leadership as well as body image. And I remember when I was a senior in high school, I was a captain of a majorette squad. And I had worked for this for 4 years, and I twirled for many years, loved twirling. And I was so proud to have reached that accomplishment to actually be the leader of the squad, and took that role very seriously. And we had a rule that if you didn't show up for practice, if you had an unexcused practice during the week, that you could not perform in Friday night's game. And we had one of the majorettes who didn't show up, didn't let me know beforehand, and I enforced the rule. And so I went to her and told her, well, you didn't make practice, so you're not going to be able to perform. And made adjustments for the squad, and we prepared to perform with one less majorette. And right before or right after we finished our big practice, Thursday night was always a big practice, the young lady came up to me and said that the band director had told her that she could perform. And I was just appalled because I had enforced the rule, and he had gone behind my back and turned it over without letting me know. And it made me feel really bad as a leader. Like, I thought that you had entrusted me with this responsibility, but you didn't even trust me enough to even talk to me when you changed your mind. And so I went to him because I was a leader, and I had enough confidence in myself, and I knew that I was enforcing the rule that he had told me to enforce. And I went to him and I told him, I asked him, I'd like to speak to you. There were other band parents and students, including my mom there. And I went up to him and I said, I know that you are the co-captain of this team. I mean, you are the ultimate captain of this majorette squad, and I'm only the co-captain. That was kind of his quip to us, But I would really appreciate it that if you change a rule, that you let me know, because what you've done has undermined me as the leader that you required me to be. And I would just really appreciate if you wouldn't do that in the future. And I said it in a respectful manner and thought I had done a really great job, but I remember the look on my mom's face. She was appalled. She looked shocked, like, oh, because I was expecting her to give me a "you go girl" look, but she was embarrassed that I had stood up for myself this way and approached my male band director in front of all these people. Well, he told me that he wanted to talk to me in front of them. But that made me question what it meant to be a leader and rocked my confidence a bit. And then, 2 years later, I was fortunate enough to twirl on the college squad at Mississippi State. And, I'm an African American, and we tend to be a little bit curvier. And the majorette squad had a very strict weight requirement. And so for years, I had always been very confident in my body and my body image. But because we had this strict weight limit, because I was 5'3" and I could not weigh above 117 pounds, and we were weighed before we hit the field. So if you didn't meet that requirement, you couldn't perform. And for the first time in my life, I began to not like my body, and actually I developed bulimia. I would throw up so I could meet because I love to eat, I love food, and my roommate can attest to how much I love it, but it made me develop an unhealthy self-image about who I was. And I think that these are two very evident examples of how we need to embrace young girls and help them to be queens. Because when we don't recognize great leadership in them, and we show disapproval for when they do what they're supposed to do and they stand up for themselves, it paves the pathway for them to later not want to be great leaders when they show up in the workplace and in the marketplace. And then when we set these arbitrary body image standards, we teach them to view themselves in a negative way. Because the love I had for twirling, I lost that year. And I didn't try out for the majorette squad the next year, and I didn't twirl again for a long time. They took away my passion for twirling because they made me feel bad about just the way I was made up. And so that's something that's really important. And I just want to close with kind of 3 points about making sure that we empower young girls to wear their crown of confidence. The first thing is we need to empower young girls to be queens and not queen bees. And as you gave an eloquent description, it's like, I was wondering, I was like, did she look at my at my notes? Because what I was going to talk about in terms of when you wear a crown, how that makes you feel, you hit upon that so excellently. So I'm not going to go over that. But queens are sovereigns. They build alliances. They build empires. They work with others. Queen bees purposefully put other women down. And the thing that we have to learn as young girls, because young mean girls grow up to be grown queen bees in the workplace. And so we need to understand that we don't have to put each other down to build ourselves up. And in fact, we are more powerful when we build alliances. So we need more queens and fewer queen bees. The second point is that we need to embrace strong women leaders, strong girl leaders, young girls. When they stand up to lead, we need to celebrate the courage it takes to stand up for yourself, to be assertive, to be different, to wear your crown when people are looking at you crazy, and to know that, you know what, I don't have to meet the norms of everybody else, and I can be. We all show up in our own unique way. And some of us show up with crowns. Some of us don't like to wear girly things at all, but we're just as great as the girl who does show up. And we need to really respect the diversity that we bring to the table, because that's what makes being a woman, a young girl, so beautiful and so fabulous. And so that's just something that's really important to help us all to wear our figurative crowns and to show up as the queens that we truly are. So thank you.
Awesome job.
Good morning. I am Regina Robinson of Regina Robinson Enterprises, and I am amazed and excited about being here today and to come behind such an amazing young woman and an amazing woman, and us to be able to stand in love, stand in sisterhood, and stand in unity, and talking about a crown with confidence. And that's something that is huge today. And it's not something that's warranted all over, because I really want to stand before you, especially being on this platform, to support a young woman, because she is the birther of this mission, A Crown with Confidence, and really just say that I want to share a message with young women, not just here in New Delhi, India, but globally all around the world. And this message really today is for you. There is a quote that says, "Always wear your invisible crown." And the problem is, we are always looking that if we don't have a figurative crown on our head that other people can see, means we are not confident, means that we are not worthy, means that we do not love ourselves. But again, you should always be wearing your invisible crown. What does that mean? That means your crown is there to stay, and not anything or anyone or anybody can take that from you. And so literally, I have an acronym for crown, because we want to make sure our young girls understand what it means to be crowned in loving you. So the word C, the letter C, stands for confident. We have to learn to be confident in who we are, what we are, and where, and in our own unique self. Not who other people are, and not who other people want us to be, but uniquely confident in our own space. So when you put on your, and continue, because you should never take off your invisible crown, right? So if we put on a figurative crown, we can take that on and off. But when we have on our invisible crown, it is embedded in us. So confident, being embedded, keeping your crown on at all times. Aura is radiant. So come on, young ladies, it's time to be radiant. It's time for you to shine bright. You know, diamonds are one of the girls' best friends, right? We love diamonds. So we are just radiant as women and like diamonds. So it's time for our young women to show up bright, shine their high beams, and don't dim your lights so that other people may shine like you, but allow them and encourage them to put on their high beams so they too can shine. They're crowned with confidence. And then we have O, and that's original. See, when you can be who you are destined to be and not try and be like every other young woman who is what they look like she said, trying to fit in what other people are saying you should be, but literally show up and be exactly who you desire to be. Be the original version of you, whether that's curvy, whether that's thin, whether that's fabulous, whether that's sashaying. I always tell the girls, sashay the way you want to sashay. But it's originally who you are. And then we have W, be worthy. Always know that you are worthy of everything that's in store for you. Whatever is ahead of you for in life, you are worthy and deserving of that. Whatever it is that is going on in your life, always remind yourself that I am worthy. Every day when you wake up, declare over yourself your I ams. Come up with it. I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am fabulous. I am wonderful. I am the woman who can do all things. I am a proud girl who wears my crown. See, we got to remind ourselves, and we got to start reminding young women to truly believe that they are worthy of everything they stand in need of. That, as a matter of fact, they already have it all within. See, when you stop looking outside for everything you need and know that it's already within you, you will continuously remember that your invisible crown is on even when no one else can see it. So you can walk in your crown even when it's not visible. Now, your crown was beautiful, but you're not always going to have that crown. So when that crown is not on you, do you still feel as beautiful? See, that's the crown with confidence. We need to make sure that you remember that even if you walk out of your house today and forget your beautiful crown, your crown is still on. Always wear your invisible crown. And then N is necessary. You are necessary. This world needs you and what you have to bring it. This world is waiting on whatever your unique gifts are that you can offer up, that you can share with the world. And so for you to be able to share such an amazing spoken word with young ladies, to be an encouragement to teens your age, see, that is necessary. Because there's a young lady who somewhere fits into that poem and didn't know how to express what it was that they were feeling. So through you, they can live vicariously. They can understand what it means to be necessary in this world. See, I want to just reflect back to a time when I was in high school. It's amazing that we all have our high school stories today, so we are definitely designed to be here today together. And so I can remember being in the 8th grade in middle school. And for a year straight, a young lady bullied me for a year. She would say, and her thing was, she was a little more masculine, not as feminine. And I was very feminine as a girl always. And so I allowed her to take away my crown. Because back then, no one told me that I should always have my invisible crown, or that I was crowned with confidence, right? And so I allowed her to always say, you're not pretty, you think you cute, or she'll bump me in school or say little things to me, and it began to affect me. It began to take away how I saw myself. So I began to question, am I pretty? Do I have what it takes? Am I a little bit do I think this? Do I think that? Because I allowed someone else to hold my crown. I allowed someone else to decide whether I got to wear my crown of confidence. And so as young women, we have to remember that your crown is your crown. No one can take your crown, and no one should present you with your crown. And if you do get presented with a crown, you need to make sure the people around you are presenting you positively with your crown. And those who are sharing negatively with your crown, dismiss those people. Separate yourself from those people. So from that day forward, what I didn't realize was I had lost a part of me because I gave it to someone else. And so for confidence is huge in you discovering who you are, loving yourself just as you are, and not thinking of how the world needs to love you, but how do you need to love you. See, confidence is not on the outside. That's just something that's fabricated, right? That's your representative. If you don't have confidence on the inside, it will begin to shine on the outside. So you have to start discovering your confidence from the outside and from the inside so that it shines bright on the outside. So I tell people all the time, today when I show up, I am confident. I am on the scene and I got my high beam shining bright. And I want to be able to reach back and help other young women know that it is time for you to shine bright as well. It is time for you to wear your crown of confidence with power, with dignity, with respect, and know that you can be original and uniquely who you are, and you don't have to fit in with other young women who are like you or unlike you, right? Because oftentimes as young girls, we want to fit in. But you need to learn to stand out. Don't be in a line with the crowd. You should always be standing out so people can see you from afar. And that's not being conceited. That's knowing who you are. And that's loving and believing that you deserve to be uniquely who you are. So to all the young women from Delhi, India, all the way around the world, today put on your crown with confidence and remember to always wear your invisible crown. Whether you have an actual crown or not an actual crown, remember to keep your crown on because you don't need someone else to give you that crown. So today, I'm going to allow this young lady to crown me, and then I'm going to crown her right back with her crown because I want you guys to understand the impact of being around other people who are willing as other women, because we don't often do that, like you said, to crown one another. So come on, babe. So she's going to take off her crown and crown me, and then I'm going to take her crown back off of me and crown her, because that's the power in loving one another and being okay with saying, you can wear my crown because you're another beautiful woman. You can wear my crown because you're another beautiful, confident young woman. So let's go.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
truly, we have to be willing to allow one another to crown one another. But even if she had not crowned me today, I still had my invisible crown of confidence. But I know now that she's sharing the love and support with me, because young ladies, you got to start supporting one another. That is huge in our society today. We are not loving each other enough, and instead we're in competition with one another. So her crowning me with confidence is a symbolization that she is not worried about my accolades and who I am, but she's confident in who she is to say, I crown another woman. And so I crowned her back as a young woman who I know is amazing, who's going to do amazing things in life, who are going to impact worldwide young ladies who had that issue with believing that maybe they were not good enough. Maybe they did not fit in with the crowd, and they were with the wrong crowd. But they're going to see that she's okay with standing out, so they'll be okay just as well as standing out. So they no longer have to try and fit in, but they can actually stand out and be uniquely who they are. So young lady, I crown you today with your confidence back.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Remember, always wear your invisible crown.
Awesome. So I actually have a question.
Okay.
So my question is directed towards Phoenix, but I'd like to
Let
hear.
me grab the mic.
Okay, sorry.
Just that way it's captured.
Okay, so my question actually is directed towards Phoenix, but I'd like to hear Stephanie and Regina's perspective as women. So my first question to you is, I know a lot of young girls who I often tell that they're beautiful, tell that they're worthy, tell that, all of these things. What made you believe in yourself and find the confidence to step forward? And then what do you think we as women can do to help young girls really believe it, instead of saying, oh, she's just saying that because she's older? Like, what can we do? And then I'd like to hear from both of your stories, high school and college, the same question when you were younger.
Well, I for my first few years when I was before I was born, my first 7 years, I was in an environment where there was no no one diminished, no one, all that. There was none of that, because we would travel. Me and my mom would travel around and do these kind of conferences and everything, and I was homeschooled. But then when I went to school, that's when
It started.
Yeah, that's when it usually starts, because you're surrounded by a bunch of other people who sometimes are jealous or just
Right.
And so I I had an issue with my nose for a while. It's like, hearing it is like, that's like ridiculous, but what happened was someone just one day told me that my nose is big, and like for years after that, I was so insecure about my nose.
Right.
And I don't like, and it took a while for me to get over that. And I think that the one major thing that like helps is like, you can tell someone they're beautiful like every day, and they won't believe it unless they believe it themselves.
Right.
And I think a way that you can do that is by asking them and making them think why they think that they're not beautiful, and they'll answer that and be like, well, is this like really true? Like, because
So deal with more of the what they believe is negative to help them understand that that's not really the case.
Okay. I think it helps to try and figure out what they think, because sometimes they don't even know what they think. They just, what other people say goes into their mind, and their mind makes them think that they believe that, you know?
Right.
Like, think of like, for example, like some therapists, they will tell you what to do and tell you like this and stuff, but the ones that like ask questions and stuff and make you think and like gets like the things turning, it can kind of help you decide what's your beliefs and what someone else's beliefs but has gone in as your own.
That's good.
And so yeah, I would, I know you, even though like we see like our friends and like our family and stuff struggling with this stuff, we can't make them see it from their eyes. You gotta help them see it
For themselves.
Like inside, you know what I mean?
Yeah, see for themselves, right?
Yeah, that's what.
No, that's good. That helps me.
So, that's a very good question about, how do you make the turn? And, Phoenix was very fortunate, like you say, to have an environment. So your environment definitely is a huge influence on how you develop your confidence. And so, I struggled with these issues in high school. I was bullied. I remember those young ladies' names. I'm not going to say who they are, but I remember being bullied. And how they would treat me, and they would always pick on me for the things that were what I considered to be my strengths. And what I had to realize is that my strengths were my strengths regardless of how someone perceived me or if they appreciated it at all. So just making that choice that, you know what, I'm a queen. And even if someone doesn't think that I am, or they, want to discount my royalty, and, I'm going to make the decision that this is what I want to do, because, I believe that our lives are the products of our choices.
Right.
And so we can choose to allow others to tell us who we are, or we can choose to see ourselves for who we are and stand in that and stand confidently. So it all boils down to ultimately making a choice. And you're very fortunate in that you've made this choice early on, and you're doing a really great service to empower others and help them to make that choice. But some women don't have that realization until they're up in age. So it's really great that you've begun this conversation now, and will empower other young ladies to continue that going forward.
And when you were talking earlier, I was going to say this, but I forgot. And when you, like, there's two type of people. The type that will, like, admire your crown and have it, and then there's the people that will try to take away your crown because they're jealous of it and they wish that they had that confidence. And you notice that how they would always, like, pick on your strength. It was because they know it was your strength. It's know that that's what you're good at, and seeing you confident in that bugs them because they don't have the confidence for their strength. And they don't know, that's...
And just kind of recognizing that hurting people, I'm handing it to you, that hurting people hurt others.
Yes. And so for me to answer that part of your question was, I was 8th grade when that happened with all the bullying with the young lady. And what I realized instantly was, she's a young girl who's insecure in who she is. So because she sees that I'm pretty and the guys give me attention and she's not getting the attention because I dress girly and she wasn't dressing as girly, it was intimidating for her. So for me, I had to look at it from a standpoint was, I'm okay with her. I wasn't okay, but you have to sometimes allow people to be in whatever space they're in. And what I realized was, as long as she was never touching me, I was okay. And so when I got to high school, what I realized was girl, that girl was just insecure because she wasn't as pretty. That is not my problem. And so by the time I got to high school, I thought I was the bomb.com. Like, I thought I was beautiful. I didn't have a problem with it, and I dressed even more girly. Because now you're in high school, right? You can switch up how you look. You can make your hair look all pretty. You can change your little outfit. Your parents give you a little more freedom. And then you can wear a little bit of makeup if you want. So by the time I got to high school, I was feeling myself, right? And then I got to college, and then I was really feeling myself, right? So I was like, we all went, you get ready to go to college, you go to the quick orientation, right, through the summer. And so we all there at our college for orientation, and then a guy spots me and wants to talk. So now I really think I'm all that, right? Because I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even get here yet. I know he got to be an upperclassman because he's already in college helping out with orientation. And so my girlfriend was like, girl, he checking you out. And I'm like, yes, right? So now my confidence is even at another level. Like, okay, so this, other people just hate it. And so we have to really be able to understand that our crown is our crown. And when I got to that realization that no matter, because life is always going to chip away at you, people are always going to have naysayers, you're always going to have someone who doesn't think you're as beautiful, which is fine, but as long as you believe you're beautiful, as long as you love who you are, as long as you believe in who you are, then that's where you can remain always wearing your crown of confidence. And so I no longer allow other people to determine when my crown is on and when my crown is off. Can I tell you, my crown is on 24/7, because I remind myself, girl, you are confident, you are amazing, you are beautiful, and you deserve to wear your crown of confidence. So we have to get into that space, and we have to start encouraging young girls to remain in that space, and we have to show them how they are amazing by their talents, their skills, like being in majorette, being in different activities, being a great designer, loving makeup, loving to wear nice clothes, loving to be that fashionista. That's where we show them they're amazing at. And that's how we let them start believing in themselves. And that's how we remind them that no matter what other people think, you don't have to dress like other people, and you don't have to get naked to be accepted. See, that's a huge thing for our young girls. You can stay fully clothed and be beautiful. So literally, ladies, continue to wear your crown with confidence. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if we could all gather for a group photo.